CBS News and others don't want you to know about that. You did find the article about U.S. military. Yes, Air Force looked at spray to turn enemy gay. Look at that, London Guardian. When I reported on that, I was attacked, and they said I made that up. This is what's been done. This is what's going on. This is what is happening. They are trying to take our free will away and chemically do this to us and then say that everybody's born this way. There it is, far from being the product of conspiracy theorists, documents released to a biological weapons watchdog in Austin. Texas confirmed the U.S. military did investigate the idea. Yeah, you notice conspiracy theory because they'd already been attacking me for it and others. So it's just right there. Okay, London Guardian, biggest paper in Europe, not just England. All right, I'm out of time. We're going to go to break, come back with 2 interviews on key subjects. But get this video out to everybody and know later in the week, a big report we put a lot of work into is coming out to expose this. So get it out to everybody you know. Great job to the crew. We'll be right back. If you believe in this information and want to support its viral spread, go to the Infowars store at Infowars.com. We've got the new G.I. Joe Infowars t-shirts. We've got the incredible Pro Pure gravity-fed filters available at Infowars.com in the store. We've got a new DVD, Scientists Under Attack, the Don't Tread on Me flag. We've got all sorts of different bumper stickers to help spread the rebellion virally. It's all there, wristbands, citizen rule books in every order. Order online at Infowars.com today. The water filters, the canteens, it's all there. Infowars.com.
We were brought up loving our country and our Constitution. That in the United States of America, we were free. And that's an attitude that we've tried to instill in our children. I met my wife while in the Air Force. I was a combat pilot in Vietnam. I served in Desert Storm as a commander. When I graduated from the academy, I took the oath of office. And as a commander, I administered that oath to many people. Now I wonder about the understanding people have of our Constitution. And I think about our candidates for President of the United States. It's interesting to see the support Ron Paul gets from the military. And if we think back to the code of conduct and people raising their right hand that they were going to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, why would those same people support in great numbers Ron Paul? I think it's because they know that he supports the Constitution of the United States. It doesn't mean you have to go to war to do it. It means you have to understand what the Constitution is and be a supporter inside of your own country, whether you're in the military or not, of that Constitution and make the United States strong. And Ron Paul does that. That's his feeling. That's his thrust. And that's why if you look at the percentages that support him in the military, it's huge. Why is that? Because they've raised their right hands and they're putting their lives on the line for us here in the United States. And they know that Ron Paul does the same.
Welcome back. It's Infowars Nightly News. Coming up in the next segment, we're going to talk to Infowars correspondent Patrick Henningsen from London concerning Iran and the huge destabilization campaign the New World Order is carrying out in the Middle East and North Africa, leading to what many, even mainline journalists, call the beginnings of what could turn into World War III. That's coming up with Patrick Henningsen. But first, because we're getting close to the end of 2011, I wanted to get documentary filmmaker Jason Burmis on with us. He, of course, directed the film that I produced, Invisible Empire, breaking down the history and goals of the New World Order. Absolutely key, seminal film for anybody that wants to have even a basic understanding of how this system works, the system we all live under. And, of course, he was involved in the Loose Change productions, as well as another film I produced, and we'll be getting into that as well, Fabled Enemies. But I wanted to get Jason on to talk about all the crazy news taking place and what he sees coming up in the new year. Jason, great to have you here with us.
Great to be with you, Alex.
All right, we talked about a lot of stuff, and I've got a lot of issues I want to raise, including the one about how they're now fitting bugs with surveillance devices to keep track of the globalist enemies, that is the general population. But out of all the things going on that you're tracking right now, what's number one on your radar screen?
Well, probably today the number one thing on my radar screen is actually what's happening in Iraq. We've had the troop withdrawal, Alex, but it wasn't really a troop withdrawal. We have military personnel there. We have more military contractors there than ever. First, they were Blackwater. Then they were XE Services. And just this month, they changed their name yet again to Academy with an EI at the end. And right on cue, right after the troop withdrawal, what happens? Well, Al-Qaeda strikes again, Alex. And this is fit to basically scare the public into believing in this boogeyman enemy and basically submitting to anything they put forward to us, including more and more out-of-control TSA personnel on the streets here.
Well, you're right. In fact, you have the LA Times article, 10 years too late, saying TSA, not just for airports anymore. They're going to be at the malls, the highways, grabbing your genitals, grabbing your wife's breast, all part of basic slave training. But look at al-Qaeda. They admit there's 4 groups of al-Qaeda in Iraq. They're using them to attack Iran while separately blaming Iran for 9/11. You've got al-Qaeda being given control of Libya, al-Qaeda being shipped in on top of it into Syria. This is all on record. So, I mean, al-Qaeda created by the CIA to fight the Russians, to attack the Serbs. I mean, it's like a skeleton key, a Rosetta Stone. They use them for everything. How dumb do they think we are?
Well, basically, they think we're extremely dumb. They think that they can put the public into a state of fear where we just go along with anything they say. And they have been beating the drums against Iran on an unprecedented level over the last 6 months. And just as you said, they're now blaming them for the 9/11 attacks. Of course, Iran has refuted this, and this is all coming into play at the same time that Iran is outing CIA spies in their country and even putting one of them on trial, Alex.
Let me bring this up to you because I don't want to just glaze over this key point you've brought up. Al-Qaeda takes credit for the bombs that have gone off. That wasn't hard to predict. We said as soon as the, quote, regular military pulls out, you're going to see Al-Qaeda attacks. So there's a pretext to say, oh, see, we need you. And now they're talking about breaking the country up into 3 different parts. I mean, it really is amazing that this is happening. It's always been the plan. Since before the war, we broke it down to partition the country into 3 parts. Jason, they're now doing it again. And they think that we're so stupid. I mean, they've built dozens of these giant embassies where, as you pointed out, there's 100-something thousand mercenaries. And so supposedly it's not an occupied country. It's not a war if the official U.S. military minimum wage people are gone and if it's all these mercenaries coming in. I mean, this is just shows a new level of psyop where people think the war is over and it's still going on.
And it's also coming at a very convenient time to bring home military when the NDAA bill only needs to be signed by our president. It's gone through the House. It went through the Senate. It was then approved by the House again, and now we're just waiting for it to be penned by Barack Obama. And remember, the White House postured and said, oh, we're never going to sign this. As soon as it was agreed upon, of course we're going to sign it. And isn't it convenient that we're having all of these military personnel come home at a time when they are actually starting to build and man FEMA camps through what? Military contractor Kellogg Brown and Root, a subsidiary of Halliburton.
You know, Jason, we get attacked over the years for reading globalist documents, for being obsessed with reality. We're the bad guys. We told people there'd be a global economic implosion based on derivatives, that the very mega banks that sold all this fraud would hold the world captive and create a new bank of the world that we'd pay our VAT and carbon taxes to. Now it's admitted. They say global authoritarianism is here, run by banks, but even The Economist says that's a good thing. So we've been right, and now we're saying they plan to kick off a giant war in the Middle East. Now that's here. But instead of being patted on the back for being right, we're the bad guys.
Absolutely. And I'm really glad that you brought up the carbon tax because that's being implemented by stealth in the United States. How so? A European judge has actually ruled that they can implement carbon taxes on all flights. That's American Airlines, United Airlines, Continental Airlines, you name it, on U.S. flights as well. So you won't know you're paying a tax, but your flight fees are going to go up, up, and up some more, just as they did when they made the excuse, oh, we have to start charging you for luggage because there's a gas crisis. Well, when that gas crisis ended, did they take away the luggage fee? Absolutely not. And now some of them are claiming to be insolvent on top of that. And with a European judge being given the authority to basically tax the American people on a global level for breathing, because that's what a carbon tax is. You exhale carbon dioxide. It is not a toxin. It is not a poison. It is not something we should be paying taxes on, but we're going to start paying taxes on it, whether we know it or not, Alex.
That's right. And U.S. Airlines and others that have hubs in Europe, they're going to have to adopt it. And now American companies are saying, okay, when your people come here, we're going to tax you as well. I mean, it's here. And it doesn't matter. It's all discredited fraud, a power grab. They're just going ahead with it.
Absolutely. And that's why they tried so hard some years ago with the Copenhagen Treaty to just kind of pass it along the lines to create this global authority that would inherit global taxes from everybody and get us to sign on to it. Thank God for people like Lord Christopher Monckton, who really brought this into the spotlight and allowed others like yourself to run with it and expose it on a national level. And we were able to defeat it then, Alex, but they keep taking these incremental steps. And now when they can't pass it on a taxation level, they'll just pass it through European foreign judges.
Now, Jason, shifting gears into the police state, these banksters are counting on using this authoritarian system and all the paramilitary police to suppress the public while they bring us into this New World Order system. And we were talking before we went live here on air about more and more reports out there about governments coming out, not just with artificial dragonflies, but with bugs that have been turned into little cyborgs to crawl in your house and surveil you.
And this isn't new technology. You know, we've been talking about the hummingbird drone for some time now. The CIA, like you said, had dragonfly drones back in the 1970s, only becoming public a little bit over a year ago. But now we're talking about bugs this size and smaller being fitted with cameras and other sensors. And of course, Alex, it's under the guise of saving us from natural disasters. Oh, these bugs are going to be the greatest thing in a building we can't go into. We're going to be able to find people and help people. Well, why don't we talk about what they're really going to be used for, and that is massive surveillance of American people and American dissidents.
And we've got one of those little robo-bugs up on screen. What's so ridiculous about all this is this governing class of kleptocrats are on total power trips, and they've got unlimited taxpayer money to surveil us and stomp on our rights while arrogantly lecturing us all day about what great humanitarians they are and how lucky we are to have them. I mean, I don't think all their high-tech crap is going to save them in the end. They've committed so many crimes. Look at John Corzine, caught perjuring himself to Congress that he didn't know where the $1 billion+ went, now caught lying, and he doesn't even get in trouble. There's got to be a limit to what these guys can get away with.
Well, you would think so, but ex-president of France, Jacques Chirac, last week was actually convicted of embezzling funds from the public to the tune of millions. And you know what, Alex? He didn't get in trouble. They just commuted his sentence and pardoned him. See, when you're on the global elites team, when you play ball with them, when you promote their agendas, you don't do jail time. Your sentence is commuted like Jacques Chirac, like Scooter Libby some years ago. And unfortunately, the American public has not made enough of an outcry, a decry, to get these systems changed so that we do convict criminals on all levels, especially at the upper echelons.
Jason, what else is on your radar?
Well, Alex, you know, we were talking about the TSA being all over. We already know the TSA has groped children, has strip searched old women, but now we've got a new one. Yes, explosive cupcake frosting. You can't go through airport security with a tasty cupcake that you bought at one of the eateries within the airport anymore, because that glaze right there, that could be the next big explosive. Forget about the shoe bomber or the diaper bomber and all those other bombers. Now liquid frosting is a hazard to flying.
And of course, we